This is part 4 in our video series on how to get real-time OSC data into Maya. In the last part, we demonstrated how we can get OSC data from an Android device using TouchOSC into processing. And in part 1 and 2, we demonstrated how we can get data from keystrokes in processing into Maya. In this part 4, we're going to put all four together and get data from our Android device directly into Maya in real time. So we're going to combine the last two sketches that we did, and we're going to import processing net and the OSC P5 library. We're going to initialize both a Maya client and an OSC P5, and our two variables float F1 and F2, which are going to be driven by the two sliders in the Android simple layout in TouchOSC. We'll set our local host and port 604, which is what Maya is listening at, and we'll set our OSC P5 to port 8000, which is what TouchOSC is sending. We'll set up two plugs, and this is from our last sketch, and they're going to listen to the addresses layout 1 fader 1 and layout 1 fader 2. They're the two methods that are going to actually assign the values to F1 come next, and then we have our draw method where we actually build the Maya MEL formatted message and send it off to Maya. So a simple collation of the last two sketches that we worked on. The last method here, which listens to unplugged addresses, that is addresses that we didn't catch with our plugs, I'm going to comment out with star slash slash star. Next, I'm going to bring up the Maya scene that we worked on in video part 2, and I'm going to open the command port with the MEL button that I made. And if I click it twice, I'll see that it errors and says that the port is already active. That's a good indication that things are working as we would expect. I can then run the processing sketch that we just talked about. It's important that we first of all open that command port in Maya before we run this sketch, or we will get errors. So the sketch is starting up, and we should see some information saying that it's all running and it's all good. Here we go, and here's the two methods in the plug that we're listening for, fader 1 and fader 2. Alright, I've got my phone hooked up, and my phone is now Bluetooth tethered as we discussed in part 3. And if I move the sliders, I now see I get an incremental response through the set-driven key relationship that we set up, and this is a reason why I set F1 and F2 for floats, so that we could take advantage of some incremental values.